What if I told you that one of the most toxic characters in Thai BL could teach you how to own your confidence, your chaos, and your heart? What if the messiest love stories are the ones that reveal the most about you? Welcome to BL Diaries, where we learn from the most unforgettable characters in Thai BL. This isn't just about romance or drama. This is about confidence, emotional depth, and what it means to truly know yourself. Each one magnetic, unforgettable, and maybe a little chaotic. We're asking, what makes them so powerful, so iconic? And how can you become your own main character through their stories? Today, we begin with someone bold, brilliant, and deeply misunderstood, and obviously one of my most favorite, Boston from Only Friends, the god of chaos and confidence. Boston is unapologetically himself, confident, daring, emotionally guarded. But beneath that sharp wit and magnetic presence, there's a boy terrified of being seen too deeply. And maybe that's why he could never truly choose Nick. Because Nick offered him a kind of love that was soft and devoted love that says, I see you, and I still stay. And Boston didn't know what to do with that. So he ran, pushed, cheated. Not because Nick wasn't enough, but because Boston didn't believe he was. Their story? It's not just about heartbreak. It's about the timing of healing. The fear of intimacy. How self-protection sometimes costs us the very thing we want most. Control is a coping mechanism. Boston doesn't just chase chaos, he controls it. Notice how he's almost always the one pulling the strings, initiating the flirtation, deciding when it ends. That's not just confidence. That's survival. When you've been hurt before, controlling the situation feels safer than surrendering to it. Boston flirts so he doesn't have to feel. He creates drama so he never has to sit in silence. And that's real, isn't it? Sometimes being the one who ruins it is easier than waiting for someone else to. So here's your question. Where are you trying to stay in control, just so you don't get hurt? Boston teaches us to name our patterns. And that's the first step in breaking them. Shame versus guilt. There's a difference between guilt and shame. Guilt says, I did something bad. Shame says, I am bad. And Boston? He carries shame like perfume, subtle, intoxicating, but always lingering. When he cheats, when he lies, it's not because he doesn't feel. It's because he feels too much. But he doesn't know how to sit with it. So he self-sabotages. Because part of him still believes he isn't worthy of being loved the way Nick tried to love him. And haven't we all, at some point, mistaken chaos for character? You are not your worst moment. And neither is Boston. Being seen versus being known. Boston loves to be seen, but being known? That's terrifying. Being seen means people admire you. Being known means they see your mess. Your fears. Your patterns. Your pain. Nick tried to know Boston. And that's why Boston ran. Because to be known and still loved? That's too intimate for someone who's still learning how to love himself. So here's the challenge, baby. Can you let yourself be known, even when you're not performing? Even when you're not the most put together, magnetic version of yourself? Boston teaches us the difference. And the risk is always worth it. His confidence isn't loud, it's owned. Boston never asks for permission. He walks like the world already belongs to him. His confidence doesn't need validation, it's not built on compliments or likes. It comes from awareness. He knows he's attractive, smart, daring. And he lets people see it without shrinking. Confidence isn't about trying to be someone. It's about deciding who you are and acting like it's already the truth. So here's your growth lesson from Boston. Start walking like you know your power. Stop waiting to be chosen. Sit like you already are. Speak like you belong. Move like you're the one to watch. That's Boston energy. Sexuality and self-ownership. One of the most revolutionary things about Boston? He's unapologetic about his desires. He doesn't hide, doesn't explain. He flirts. He plays. He chooses. In a world that tells you to tone it down, be quieter, smaller, easier, Boston says, be too much. Be intense. Be wanted. Be bold. Because freedom isn't always clean. It's not always soft. Sometimes self-love looks like claiming your own body, your voice, your pleasure without shame. So ask yourself, where are you still dimming your light to make others comfortable? Chaos isn't always bad. Boston is chaotic. Let's not lie. He crosses lines, tests limits, breaks hearts. But here's what makes him powerful. He shows up anyway. He lets himself be seen even in the mess. We're all taught to be likable, easy, agreeable. But real growth? It's not polite. Boston reminds us, stop performing for comfort. Start owning your friction. Let your truth make people uncomfortable. That's where your power lives. Why we can't look away. Boston is the kind of character you love, hate, and can't stop thinking about. Why? Because he shows us the parts we try to hide. The craving, the shame, the ache of wanting to be enough. We watch him hoping he'll choose better. Because maybe then, we believe we can too. Underneath it all, he's still human. This isn't blind admiration. Boston is messy because he's hurting. He's guarded. He lashes out because vulnerability terrifies him. Sound familiar? We all wear armor. Some of us wear it as kindness. Boston wears it as seduction, sarcasm, swagger. But underneath all of that, he's still human. He wants love. He just doesn't believe he deserves it. The real growth lesson? Have the courage to look at your own chaos. Heal what hurts without hiding behind a persona. Because confidence without healing is just performance. Boston shows us both the armor and the ache. Learn from both. Your takeaways. So what can we take from Boston? Own your presence. Stop apologizing for your desires. Let yourself be messy. Heal quietly but never shrink. Being magnetic isn't about being perfect. It's about being undeniably you. And baby, if that means being a little chaotic, so be it. Let the world adjust to your energy. Don't lower your frequency to fit in. I see myself in Boston. The parts one hide, the fears I carry. Do you, or are you like healed enough? But I feel like there would always be some fear, but let's just overcome it one step at a time. This was your daily dose of emotional chaos and character-driven self-worth. If Boston shook you, wait till you meet tomorrow's character. Subscribe and let's keep healing, one BL character at a time. And remember, you're not too much. You're just enough for the right kind of magic.